Uh, Good morning, everyone. Before we present to you the recently approved project supported by DOST and PCIEERD, let me share how these projects came about and fitted are aligned with national program and SMT priorities under the construction sector. But PCIEERD is one of the sectoral planning council of the Department of Science and Technology. It serves as a central agency in the formulation of policies, plans, and programs, as well as coordinate and implement strategies of this sectoral concern through various SMT programs. In crafting the sectoral SMT program and priorities, or in claims we call it as the SMT Sectoral Roadmap, we see to it that these are aligned with the national program, aligned to the DOST's harmonized national R&D agenda, supporting and contributing to the NEDA ambition program, which covers until period of 2024. So it's a long-term program. Likewise, we see to it that this is our aligned to the National Line Department's program and industry program. In this case, we're aligning the program for the construction SMT program along with the construction industry roadmap 2020 to 2030 timeframe program, which call it Tatag at Tapat program for the Philippine construction industry roadmap. Together with sectoral stakeholders from the relevant government agencies, private sector, industry association, and professional organization, and the academe, we craft the sectoral science and technology plans and priorities and identifies priorities along with the what are the needed as far as research and development priorities, human resource development needed, and provide specialized training for in support of the sector. And what are the SMT facilities and services requirement, for example, laboratories and testing facilities that would support the industry. Likewise, it identifies the SMT policies that would provide science-based information to provide or to warrant policy development and policy formulation for our decision and policy-making body. Or, for example, likewise, developing some standards and codes, practices for the construction industry, as well as developing some standards for voluntary guidelines of the practicing engineers. Now, one of the sectoral coverage under the PCIEERD is construction sector. And the construction sectors has two major thematic areas identified in the sectoral program, which are the sustainable construction materials and innovative construction services. Now, the SMT Sectoral Roadmap is envisions to advance and provide reliable construction materials and services towards a safer and sustainable infrastructure. Now, once we identified the priorities and programs, PCIEERD allocate and outsources funding support to implement these priority areas. PCIEERD announces call for proposal along these identified priorities and invite potential implementing agencies from the academe, industry association, professional organizations, and research and development institutions to submit proposal for possible funding. Hence, we'll be presenting to you today these recently approved projects. But for now, here is the R&D priority areas for the construction sector, which identifies the SMT intervention areas, as I mentioned, and human resources, SMT facilities, SMT policies, and R&D priorities. Now, the construction sector as I mentioned, have two major thematic areas on sustainable construction materials and innovative construction services, which both integrates a sustainable and resilient built environment, which envisions, again, an advanced and reliable construction materials services towards a safer and sustainable infrastructure. Now, under the sustainable construction materials, it identifies or it prioritizes the optimization and value adding of using indigenous material, recycled and industrial waste, even raw materials in different construction for products and applications. Second is exploration of and development of new materials as a cost-effective alternative to conventional construction materials. So we need to highlight the cost-effectiveness for us to be more cost competitive with different use of conventional materials, as well as the productivity of our manpower, whether this increases the productivity in terms of installation of this material, as well as this should have provide a same quality or even more perform than the conventional materials. Now, for the other major thematic program, which is the construction services program, the priority under the program, one is to establish and applied advanced construction testing laboratories. One good examples that we have supported is the establishment of a petrography laboratory that would provide a more analysis in terms of quality of concrete in a more detailed scientific basis for us to assess the structural integrity of our concrete. And if there are other areas or services that are not yet established locally, these are being prioritized to be supported under the program. One of the service program identified as a sub-thematic area is on the modular construction monitoring and testing equipment. So the part of the program is developing new instrumentations or equipment that provide better scientific analysis for our construction infrastructures, and as well as possible cost competitive tools that we can localize to be more competitive or to be more productive in terms of using our own locally developed system for us to get away with foreign technology support. Another services or construction services thematic areas identified is which to provide science-based information for infrastructure planning, design guidelines for resilient infrastructure. One good example that we have been undertaking is to provide earthquake maps or acceleration maps that could provide our designers more scientific information for them to design a more structured, resilient infrastructures, which is less vulnerable to the natural hazards like earthquake and flooding or even storm surge. This kind of mapping supports would provide science-based information to our designers or infrastructure engineers to provide a more resilient infrastructure with this exposed to different natural hazards. Now, in summary, we have here a diagram or a gleam of a nutshell, which provides a one-page information of the construction sector SMT roadmap that highlights the overall strategies on human resource. In your left, needed R&D technologies, facility services, and SMT policies initiatives. But the program at the moment is under updating since we are aligning and updating the harmonized R&D agenda that would provide a time frame of 2020 up to the 2028. So currently, we're still updating this roadmap to cover the and align this with the time frame of the Harmonized R&D agenda. So still, we would welcome and take this opportunity with you for you to provide comments and insights if there are any new innovative ideas that is not yet listed in the priority program. Please post it in the chat box of any insights and inputs that were not yet identified in this roadmap. The roadmap indicates a list of projects annually, and there's a budget proposed allocation for us to align or put in a pipeline program for the continuing budget appropriation under the General Appropriation Act. So it listed an annual budget of potential with specific possible areas for research and development and for us to possibly support counterpart funding to implement these identified priorities. So with that, we'll be posting this website or this roadmap in our website, and likewise we'll be posting this in our chat box for you to properly see it, since these are in small fonts, and for you to review and browse at it. And if there are any areas that are not yet identified within your priority areas, please do post it in the website and in the chat box. For now, these are the priorities, and we're hoping that these are also supporting the industry program. So at this point, we'd like to thank you and present to you the highlights of the newly approved projects that we have recently approved. Again, thank you very much for your attention.